as you were saying, when men get into a thing,
Yeah.
and they care about something, they really care about. Just think about how men treat their cars. Okay, just think about that. A man will treat their car that they love. They love the car. They'll treat them better than they treat themselves.
Yeah.
You know how women treat dogs really nice for some odd reason.
Right.
Men, the moment we start caring about something, that's it.
Right.
Oh no, I can't be having my car drive on a regular road. You know it's bad for the shocks. I never even heard of shocks before.
Yeah, but I just, like I said, I think what the way we define soul ties or soulmates and stuff is different. So that's why maybe we just see it different.
Yeah, I think everything is a choice.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I don't think that there are, like I said, divine relationships that exist, but even then, so I have a friend who's from your area of the world, and
You say it like that.
I couldn't remember the name of the
Bakersfield?
country. Yes,
Okay.
actually, yeah, he is actually from Bakersfield.
And he's Indian?
He's Indianish.
What does that mean?
He might be from Bangladesh or something.
Okay.
Something like that. But
He's Desi.
what does that mean?
From that region. So Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Desi.
Pakistan.
Okay.
Pakistan. That's where he's from. And so there's one time I saw him, and he was like bags under his eyes and just toe up. Like, And I was like, dude, what's wrong with you? And he was like, I miss my girl. And him and the girl broke up, and she had moved to like Europe for like a year and a half or something. And he was just toe up. You would imagine that there was nobody else in the world for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now things have changed.
On to the next. That's why to me, yes, I think you can potentially have a soulmate. It's true, but I think that it's a pick from the litter. I think you have to make the active decision to say, you're my soulmate. I'm going to act this way because I care about you.
I can see that. I also think that you like when we're thinking about stuff that's not necessarily in our mental capacity to understand, like when we're talking about like God or like soulmates and stuff like that, I think there's a spiritual aspect to that. And I think that you personally as a human have to put yourself in a certain place, both emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and understanding wise, to be able to receive those type of things as well. So where maybe you call it a choice, I'm probably thinking of it the same way, except it's more like you've put yourself in a certain place to be able to find that, right? Where you've opened yourself to be able to receive that type of depth in a relationship.
You know what I've made a decision on?
What's that?
And I think that men have to make that decision. It's fatherhood. I can't wait to be a dad. I can't wait. I can't wait, but they got to come out like 4.
No babies.
Well, you just say you're gonna get some milk. For 4 years and then come back.
Well, I want to see them.
You just don't want to take care of it.
Just the thing. So a friend of mine, I went to her house the other day, and she's telling me about how she puts the baby inside of the mattress. And I said, I don't have instincts. I would take the baby, I'd put it at the edge of the couch, and I'd be like, okay, you're going to fall asleep or what's going to happen? But she puts it inside of the mattress. It's like a Snuggie mattress. And they have to look at a light. When they look at the light, it tells them if it's playtime, if it's bedtime, all this stuff. You're like training the kid. I would have never, ever known that. But as a guy, I did. The only thing I know is that I made the decision that I'm going to be okay once that comes.
Right.
But when you're in your mid-20s, early 20s, mid-20s, that's like the scariest thing in the world.
To some people.
It was to me.
Yeah, but you weren't in that mindset. Some people in their 20s, they are...
different cities, different states.
Yeah, or just like different places in their life where they want that. They're in a relationship. Being out of a relationship and having a kid is much scarier than obviously being with somebody that you're going to want to be with and having a kid, right?
I still want to do it after marriage, though.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm not.
And I'm sure, there's different So I have like my best friend, him and his wife have a very traditional type of setup when it comes to how they raise their children. Like,
What does that mean?
so he's away working most of the time. The wife's taking care of most of the like mommy duties and things of that nature. He still, helps out when he can. Like he enjoys little things like giving her a bath, giving his daughters baths, and like he'll change diapers and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's very much her job is to take care of the kids. His job is to make sure that there's enough money to give them the lifestyle that they want. And that's, I think, the traditional quote unquote way. And now it's becoming more like 50-50 partnerships and stuff, because women also are breadwinners as well, and they're working and stuff like that. The whole stay-at-home mom thing is, some women look down upon that, where my mom was like, that was everything she wanted, was to just be a stay-at-home mom, and she did extremely well with that. So, but yeah, I mean, it looks like maybe in your but you want the ambitious woman with also the ability to, at least from 0 to 4, take care of all of the baby duties.
So I'm gonna tell you this. I like to say this: if life is doing me well, then I'm okay with you being CEO of the children. I'm gonna tell you why. There's a lot of adults that needed that.
Yeah.
And
what
that needed a full-time mom.
Okay, gotcha.
Or a full-time parent. And to me, I think of things as a business, right? Your household is your business. And children these days are growing up to be more and more monstrous. So they're awful.
I don't know if they're awful as much as there's a lot of more. There's a lot more things that you need to be aware of as far as like sidestepping. So, like, for example, social media is this whole animal in itself. The type of like the show Cocomelon literally like is an addictive show to children, where it engages the same type of receptors, the serotonin release and things like that people who are addicted to alcohol or addicted to drugs, like the same type of feeling they get from using their vice is what Cocomelon gives to kids.
Listen to this. That's a great point. I was a sort of a latchkey kid for a little bit of time. At one period of time, being a latchkey kid, my grandparents were home, but they were just like downstairs. Nobody's really watching you. You could do whatever you want.
Right.
You were not exposed to all this stuff.
Right.
And luckily, the things we were exposed to, we weren't crazy enough to want to try all those things.
Right.
I know some people were, but I know I wasn't. But that's because I had the fear of my mother instilled inside of me. You're not going to come from another country to work this hard for me to mess it all up.
Right.
So I had respect. I noticed that the children these days don't. So I say this. If I am going to put kids on this earth, they're going to have to be raised very, very well. So your ambition that you had, like you said, I want an ambitious woman. Yeah. But maybe you might have to be ambitious about being a really great mom.
Right.
I also don't want to be the dad that's just like not there at all for the first 4 or 5 years. I do want to be there because I like babies. I just don't like when I don't know what to do with them.
Right.
But I'm also open to learning. I'm open to doing all stuff. I was just not going to wake up in the middle of the night. You got to figure that out.
I think you'll be surprised how much your instincts actually come into play, man. It's wild. I've seen it sometimes with children, but I definitely, when I had my dog, it was wild. Like certain instincts that I was just like looking back, I was like, how did I know to do that? Like I remember there was this one time where I was walking my dog, and then there was this other dog that was like kind of moving in to like sniff, because you know how dogs sniff and stuff like that. And I don't know, like the way this dog was coming at my dog, like it was just off. Like I wasn't thinking of it actively, but just in one swoop, like I like just picked up my dog right when the dog was getting close to my dog. This was an act of thought. It was just straight instinct. And then that dog like snapped at my dog. And I literally wasn't thinking like actively, like this dog is aggressive. It was just like an instinct. And I've seen that even with like my friends' daughters and stuff like that, like they're babies right now. And like there's just certain things that you just know, like you can see, oh, they're running a certain way, like they're about to trip off of this, they're about to hit their head, and like you just put your hand where they're, and like you say, like it's just not something that you're thinking actively, it's just an instinct that you have. And you'll be surprised, I'm sure, once it's your child, and like, you know, that all these feelings that you have right now is thinking about it, like you're imagining, but once you're actually there, like that, I think that instinct will, especially because you're open and you want to be a father, like your instincts will be on overdrive.
See, that's the thing. That little stuff, sure. Okay, if somebody comes and is threatening, okay, then I'll have to shoot them. But I'm thinking more about like next level baby stuff, like sleep training. You know?
Yeah, but
I wouldn't even like think to try a different thing. I would just put them inside of the thing. I'd be like, yo, go to bed.
Yeah, but Kelby, this is all with the way society and technology is right now, right? There's thousands of books on all this kind of stuff. When we were growing up, do you think our parents knew about sleep training? Nah, it was just passed down from generation to generation how you're supposed to, you know, do like raise your kids, like, or sleep, all that kind. So it's like that's there, and I'm sure there's like efficient ways that have been scientifically proven, and you know, all that kind of stuff. But there's also just like that Haitian like folklore, you know what I mean? Like your mom's gonna say, you know, make sure you burn a coconut. Like that's like, you know, like
burn a coconut.
That's in our culture.
Really?
Like if they're like sick, or if there's like they're anxious or something, to like get away the evil spirits and stuff, you like do this ritual where you like burn a coconut and like fend off all the evils. Like there's stuff like that like my mom used to get drink like a certain like thing with milk and eggs and stuff like that, so that we would come out more light skinned. You know what I mean? Like certain things like that. Like there's all of these different like like just that are passed down. So I'm sure like once you get into that zone, once you get into that mode, like you'll just, there's that, but there's also like just, you were fine. I'm sure you didn't go through any kind of sleep training.
I don't know. I wasn't really cognitive.
Yeah, but I mean, if you ask your mom,
wasn't really aware.
If you ask your mom right now, like
she'd be like, "What is sleep training? Twin, you for what? You went to bed."
When you were crying, I put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Like,
me crying. Yeah, right. I came out the womb hard, cuz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was slapping all them nurses. Yo, what up? No?
You did.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's an exciting thing that I think is coming up.
Soon?
No. Probably in the next 3-4 years.
That's pretty soon, bro.
That is pretty soon. It depends, like, how life is treating me. It's all
and
about
also,
money.
like, so that means you're probably very focused on the type of women that you're dating, too. If that's like a goal in the next few years. Yeah.
I mean, I'd be okay if I had the first one at like 34, 35. I'm only 26.
And you're not
That's
the type
facts.
to have baby mamas, right? In the sense like,
oh no.
So like you got to be secure in your relationship to be able to.
For sure. It's got to be my soulmate.
Your soul choice?
Yes. It all comes down to choice. Life is about choices.
So it's not about a soulmate, it's about a soul choice.
Who did I decide to mate with?
There you go.
Who did I
My
choose?
soul. Yeah. But I know Sabal said he never wants to have any kids. It's just a bunch of dogs.
No, I have kids.
You want to?
Yeah. It's not right
Dude,
now.
your answer changes like every week.
No.
When,
I'm not okay with kids right now. Definitely not in a good place to have kids.
What did you think about when people say, remember Estrella? He told me that no one is ever going to be in a perfect situation to have children. Just
That's
have
true.
them.
It's like, why wait for marriage?
Oh, okay. Well, I wouldn't advocate
what I'm
that.
saying is, there's never gonna be a perfect time, so you might as well just do it. Yeah.
but I think there's a difference between planning, like, because you know, if you're planning to have a kid, obviously finances and all that kind of stuff are gonna be there.
Yeah, that's the
I'm
number
sure
one
like
thing for me.
if there's a quote unquote accident, right? That's different, right? At that point, you got to just deal with what it is.
How do you have an accident in 2022? You want it.
Protection doesn't work.
Okay.
I think that's the main part. Protection doesn't work.
Or you just choose not to use it.
Well,
That's
I mean,
not an accident.
The pull out
protection isn't always just condoms, right? Even like people that have like IUDs or are on the pill. Like I met a girl recently that she has her kid. She was on birth control and it didn't work, so they had a kid with her husband. She was married, but she was still on birth control because they weren't planning on having kids at that point yet. Or in her mind, she didn't ever want to have kids. Her birth control, she still got pregnant even off of birth control. So they had the kid.
She didn't want to get rid of it?
No.
You want some?
So I would love to have kids, but I'm also like, so when I was in my early mid 20s, like I wanted to have kids so bad. Like I used to dream about it. I used to like dream about being a father, all that kind of stuff. Now that I'm like 38, I'm like, I don't know if that's in my cards. You know what I mean? Because so I'm not as obsessed about it. I think I would be a great father. Like I would really enjoy, being a father and stuff like that. But it's not something that I think about actively because I don't know if that's something that's meant
your
for
age?
me. My age, just like stability of a relationship. I'm like you. I want to be married.
You got to be right.
And all that kind of stuff. So for me, like, I don't know if I'll ever get married. So if I don't think I'm ever going to get married, then I don't think I'll ever have kids because I wouldn't want to have a baby out of wedlock.
Yeah, I'm the same way. But I did speak with somebody recently who had their kid at 40, and he was so grateful about having his child at 40.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like, if I had it at any other point in my life, I would not have been ready. And he just was so grateful for that experience of being a new dad at 40.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? You never know. If Michael Jackson's sister, Janet, could have her kid at 50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's not about like for me
age, but it's all about your lifestyle situation.
Exactly. Like and it's really weird, Kelby. Like I used to dream about being married, dream about having kids, all that kind of stuff. Those dreams don't happen anymore.
Of course.
Like it's weird. Like even if I try to force myself, you know how like sometimes you lay in bed, you're like, I'm gonna dream about this, and you like force yourself. It doesn't even pop off. Like even when I force myself. So it's like I don't know if I've mentally trained myself to just because it's like protect your happiness. Like don't disappoint yourself by like that. Or if it's just genuinely just like a different understanding that I have about life now, where I'm just like, if it happens, I'll give my 100% and make sure that it happens. But until that point, I'm not gonna like overly think about it because it's not in my control.
So why are you dating?
So I date, like, I feel like I'm dating with the purpose, but I also date based off of what's in front of me, which is kind of like bad too, because it's like situational, which obviously doesn't make sense if I'm dating with the purpose.
That's the only option you have.
Is to date with a purpose?
No, to date within your situation.
Right.
But now you have to make your situation, you have to define it.
Right. So you talked about something a few weeks ago when we did an episode where you're like, you ask all of these questions right away. Like you don't waste time. Like you're not even going to waste if like the morals, values, all that kind of stuff is not there. For me, I know I'm not doing it that way. I learned a lot from when you were saying that, and I was looking back and I'm like, like I'm not taking it as serious as Kelby's taking it. Yeah. Which is probably why I'm not getting the same results, like, cause you're engaged with the BBL now. So, so I'm not getting those same results from my relationships or my ass. But yeah, so right now I really just enjoy experiences, man. And I think that a lot of it probably comes from my relationship, like just with my culture and my parents. And it's so, I guess, pressed upon you that it's kind of like,
yeah, you reject everything that's forced upon you.
Yeah, maybe. It
Just
could
like
be that, or it could just be like the fact that I'm Morty, the disappointment, quote unquote, disappointment child and all this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, now I'm just going to live for myself. Like, why focus on what's going to make somebody else happy,
Yeah, that's not the way to go. It's not
Trauma.
the way. No, it's not the way to go to make somebody else happy. And we come from foreign families,
right?
So that is the formula in a foreign family. Make your parents proud of you,
right?
And yeah, you want to do that, but you also want to do it your own way.
Sure.
We're in a whole different country. We're in a whole different culture,
right?
And whatever ultimately, your parents are going to be proud of you if you are not in prison, if you're not a hood rat, and you know, and if you're doing something that makes you happy and is
Right.
fruitful, it may not be what their image was for you,
Right.
but once they realize that you are happy, it changes everything for them. It's like
Sure.
when the racist grandpa has a mixed grandchild,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Dang, I used to hate those blacks, but my granddaughter is just so cute." You know what I mean? All of a sudden, your situation changes.
Right.
But I understand like living for the moment and everything like that. But the thing I really, really, really don't like is that moments are just so short.
Yeah.
You know, I hate that.
But you know how like we talked about before your ability to like rebound or reset.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I told you like it doesn't take me a long time to just move on to the next because I'm just like conditioned for that now.
Sure.
And you were like, well, does that mean you never truly like that person? And I'm like, nah, I genuinely like that person, but I also am not going to spend all of this time trying to get over someone when it's not going to change the fact that it's over. Right. So just if it's over, accept that it's over and move on to the next. And that's, I think, also helped me in this because it's kind of funny. Like I was talking to this one girl and it was actually pretty cool. We went on a date. I messed up in the date.
What'd you do?
I just got mad. I got way too drunk. And like,
We know how that goes. Huh?
yeah, it was
He
literally,
ate all her fries.
it was
I was
literally
just about
that,
to
it was
say
literally that kind of night.
No.
So like, yeah, which literally the last time I had that kind of night was with you guys. So,
I don't know what you're talking about.
he ate all her fries.
just yours.
So funny.
But
Chris
anyway,
is so upset. Chris is still upset.
To
Those
this
fries
day.
were like $3.79.
clearly, and I don't even remember how good they were. So anyways, like, so we kept talking from that. We planned another date, but like right before we were gonna go on that date, she like texted me and was like, you know, after some thinking and stuff like that, I don't think that, you know, you're the right person for me right now or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's wild because you just literally I just literally told you I booked this reservation to this restaurant you wanted to go to. She's like, yeah, I'm sorry. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. You know, like, you know, wish you the best. And then I got back on the app a couple days later and met another girl that now I'm talking to, right? And
Don't get drunk.
nah, yeah. I haven't been. But that other girl that tell me I'm not the one for her or whatever.
Yeah.
I saw her at the place last night with this new girl.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, hey, what's up? And she was like, oh. And then I checked on, she's already like, she's been looking at all my stories on Instagram, all that kind of stuff.
Uh-oh.
Even though, so I'm just like, it's like, for me, I'm just like, on to the next. You told me it's not going to work out. I'm not going to sit here and try to dwell, like, what could I do to fix this and all this kind of stuff.
Did you like that girl?
Yeah, I liked her a lot. I thought it was going to be real cool. But in my head, I'm like, there's certain ways to end things that make me be like, okay, maybe I could work on this.
Yeah.
If you give a shot, it feels like, hey, this is something that's bothering me. Like, can and I don't know if I could be with you if it's like this. Okay, you're giving me a chance to give me information. I can make a decision to change my behavior and like make this thing work out, or I could be like, you know what, this is who I am. Maybe it's not going to work out, right? Mm-hmm. If it's already like, you know what, I'm thinking about, I don't think that we should be together, or I don't think that you're the right person for me. You've already made the decision in your head that you don't want to be with me. Mm-hmm. There's no point in me trying to like fix that.
Mm-hmm. What do you think it was? Was it the drinking?
No, I think it was more the way that we talked, and I think for her past trauma and stuff like that, she's just barely getting back into dating, and like I think that the type of person I was like a little much because I'm very direct and stuff like that. So,
so you was like going crazy.
No, I don't think so. I was just like, I'm just like tell people where I stand and stuff like that. So.
Okay, I see. Well, I mean, sometimes some people like that stuff.
Yeah.
And some people are, you know. Okay. Well, with this new person, have you asked any of those questions, or are you just living in the moment?
Moment for sure. She's asking a lot of those questions though.
How old is she?
She's 3 years younger than me.
Yeah. Does she have kids?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I see. That makes sense. But I think that age plays a part into a lot of this stuff too, because of, you know, people are typically, if they're, you know, 30 to 36, 37, they're looking for that
Right.
lifetime thing. And then once they hit that like 40 age, they're just like, ah, well.
But you know what's kind of funny is it depends, because I think people also that are at that age that have been married and got divorced, they're not looking back to get married again.
No, yeah, it's true.
And they are looking for maybe stability in a relationship, but they're not necessarily looking for kids or to be married again. Like, they don't want that all the way but they want like the same type of maybe commitment without as much, like without the marriage title kind of thing.
Right.
So I mean,
from that.
yeah, I've noticed like the spectrum, because I've just been dating everything, I guess, like all those kind of.
Anything that's walking.
No, I'm saying like people from different types of like scenarios, right?
Right.
So I've dated, girls that are like in their late 20s. Yeah. They're on a different mindset than maybe somebody who's in their early 30s or somebody who's in their late 30s.
Isn't that such a trip?
40s, yeah.
They're like 27, and then at 31, it's like a whole different person.
Especially depending on like their life experiences too. So like, no kids to kids is much different.
Yeah.
So even like a 31-year-old with a kid is much different than a 34-year-old without a kid.
Yeah.
So that 31-year-old may not be looking for marriage or all that kind of stuff. The 34-year-old with no kids is most definitely looking for marriage.
Yeah, most likely.
You know what I mean? So like, it's interesting. It's just like, it's great, especially for my type of mindset that's always like looking to learn about people and culture and like all that kind of stuff. It's been phenomenal.
Do you only date black women?
It's been that way recently.
The past like 25 years?
No, maybe the past like since 2016.
Oh. Okay.
Because in college it was mostly Indian, actually.
Really?
Yeah. But I felt like I was meeting more Indians. Now I don't feel like I meet as many Indian people.
Let there be a war then.
A war?
Yeah, you'll meet all of them. They'll come right on out. That's just how it works. I've never met so many Ukrainian people in lately. But interesting. Do you feel tied to a specific race?
Yeah.
No?
Nah, more culture than race.
Culture. Chris, would you date a white person? Oh, shoot.
I hear you.
He's like, solely. Actually, when I find her,
good things.
I'll always be with her.
I meant to say,
Could you see yourself dating a black person?
non-black person?
Yeah.
I have before.
Well, I'm saying like seriously marry and stuff like that.
I think if you asked me that 6 years ago, 5 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And if you ask me right now, probably nah.
I think there's just some huge differences between
It's a culture.
white people and Caribbean people.
Culture, right?
Yeah.
I think it's culture more than
just
race, no?
I don't know. Yes? I don't know. I just don't know. Like maybe if they were like the right person and it was cool. You gotta be cool.
What if it's a white person from the Caribbean?
Then they probably cool. Yeah. You probably get it and it's like, all right.
Right.
You wash your hair every couple of days. It's fine. But I thoroughly am enjoying being with a person of color. That's like, it's key.
Right.
And I get to say black stuff and no one's ever awkward.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's always a thing. When you say you're like Hispanic stuff.
Yeah.
And you're with somebody who just doesn't get it. And then they got to ask what. And then the what bothers you. It just makes your shoulder twinge.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, what do you mean what? Right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
So I get to say all my black stuff. And they're like, oh, I got that. I understood that. And it's like, oh, yay.
And probably you could walk into
me.
you guys walk into the same situation and probably feel the same thing,
Well, maybe.
As far as like when it comes to cultural stuff, maybe.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah.
I think that's important for sure.
Yeah, my dad's always said that like I should be with a Haitian person because they'll get me, And it's like, maybe.
But that's only if you I guess
Identify with that.
identify as like
Which I do,
with your
but I've
Haitian
also
culture.
been away from Haitian culture for 13 plus years.
Right.
So I'm just kind of like, it's still a part of me, of course, but it's not like my thing, you know? So I'm more just like a Black Caribbean
Mhm.
person. And so long as you get the Black part and you have respect for the Caribbean part, we cool.
Right.
I don't need you to speak my language. I'll teach you a little French and a little something.
Yeah, for me, I've been so independent for so long
Mhm.
that my partner doesn't need to necessarily value and believe all the things that I believe, you know, because it's like I've been living this lifestyle my whole life by myself.
Yeah.
It's like as long as you don't impede on my ability to be the way that I am, kind of thing, then we should be cool. But I don't need you to necessarily.
See, so that's the difficult thing. So let's say, have you ever dated somebody who's very religious?
Not religious as much as spiritual.
So religious is a whole different situation, and that's why they say, you know, you got to be equally yoked. Somebody got to see God the same way that you see
Right.
them, or else it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've spoken to plenty of couples where it's like we don't, but it's just this black hole in their relationship where it's like, you do you, I'm gonna do me. We don't talk about it, and we also don't like force our own thoughts onto them
Mm-hmm.
until the kids get there.
That's the problem. Because now, how do you raise your kids?
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you really have to be okay with it. To like it's almost better if one person's religious and one person is just not religious at all.
Right.
Because then it'll be like, yeah, go to church with your mom. I don't care.
Yeah.
But if one person is Jewish and the other person is Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like, what are we doing? You know?
Right.
Actually, no, that actually is a good situation because one goes to church on Saturday and the other goes. But if one is like Kojic,
Right.
Right.
Nah, but
Yeah.
it is a big thing, and I know like my parents, that's the biggest thing where their mindset is like you got to marry somebody who's Hindu and Indian because when you kids come, if they're not from the same culture, how are you gonna raise them and stuff like that? But for me, it's like
let the streets raise them.
But for me, it's like, well, a lot of what has influenced me is Hinduism and being Indian, clearly. But there's also a lot of other aspects to this world that's influenced me as well that are just as valuable to me. So that's why I feel like I could, maybe the ideal person for me isn't necessarily just Indian, but maybe it is. I don't know.
So would you marry a black person?
Yeah. I'd marry any ethnicity or race.
Even a white girl?
Yeah, if it,
You be making fun of me because I've talked to white girls before. And,
I made fun of you for talking to white girls.
yeah,
No, I make fun of you for only being attracted to white girls
that's so far.
because I've never heard you ever say anything nice about a non-white girl
My
when
girl
it comes
right
to
now is
beauty.
not white.
I know it's the first one. That's saying,
That's not the
and
first one.
let's be honest. Is she what spectrum on the
She's mixed,
with what?
black and white.
Loophole.
What's up, mama?
Mixed.
Black. Listen, man, we get a little touch of that black man. It is what it is, man.
I'm just saying.
We season the whole fool, baby.
It's not like he went all black. Let's just put it that way.
Hey, man, I've talked to like African girls before.
I know.
And I think they gorgeous. But hey, just be with the death. I made my choice. You know, I said you got a good soul. You might as well mate with mine.
But it's just funny that you try
Somebody
to call me
tired.
out on something.
You be calling me out.
I told you, and
Listen,
you made my
listen,
point.
Listen, I find mad people attractive. I just do. I'm sorry. Sometimes there's a white girl with unwashed hair that just does it for me. You know, from afar. I just look at you and I'm like, damn. That's
From a
all right.
distance.
Yeah, that's all right. You
It
know,
was just, there was a streak going on where it was very dominated by one race. Let's just put it that way.
I don't know. Maybe in front of you.
I mean, yeah, what you used to talk about with me,
Maybe.
and that's
But
where the jokes
Chris,
came
Chris
from.
seen me with some Latina girls too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I talked a little
Met a
Spanish
couple.
before.
I'm sure. Yeah,
You know?
back in
No.
2002.
He didn't talk
Two.
Spanish, but he was
I
with us.
spoke a little, you know, kumbaya.
Little
Yeah, back
thumb
when we
man.
met, hey,
Yeah, like,
back
yeah.
when we met, I would have made those jokes because back then you were very much into.
Anything.
No, you needed it to have some melanin in it.
Listen, I went through an experience with a white. And ever since then, I said, I don't know if I like it purebred. I just don't know. I like to look, for sure. From afar, cool. You know, so I can acknowledge a pretty white person. I can. That's where it ends, kind of.
I don't think white women are attracted to me.
I mean, yeah.
I feel like I'm only, yeah. So
You're so fucking mean, dude. I mean, yeah. Of course.
I mean, you know, I feel like whites have their specific thing.
right.
I like a white person. I like a black person. Here and there, they're like a Latino, pretty Latino person.
No,
Nice.
there's a lot of Indian guys that are married to white women.
So I heard talk about this.
Go ahead. One more time. Spell it.
Ashkash.
But that's not a name.
Ashkash. Akash.
Akash.
Akash. I've heard him talk about this.
Yeah.
Where he was like at a certain point in his life, and I don't want to misquote him, but I guess he was saying that
You don't mind misquoting his name, but you don't want to
I
misquote.
thought his name was Akash.
It sounds like you're clearing your throat.
Do not make fun of the guy's name.
His name is Akash.
Okay, his name is Akash. I thought it was Akash. Well, anyway, Akash was explaining. He was explaining how there are some Indian guys who they find more value in white people. Now I'm gonna tell you this: there are some Caribbean people who are the same.
They
And
find
they're-
more
and-
value. Define what's that mean?
So they like. There's a member in my family who, when I was with a white person, they were like, "Yes, you win," you know, because it was like.
They buy into that.
Yeah, they're
hierarchy.
like, yeah, they were just into it, you know. And for me, I didn't feel like I won. No disrespect to her or anything like that. It was just I liked her, you know. That's it. I don't really. It was only after that is when I started saying I would like y'all from afar for the most part, but mainly I never really cared that much. I was just I think you're attractive, black, white, Asian, whatever. So. He was speaking about that about Indian people when he was in college. Indian male would literally give up the finest Indian woman for a pretty okay white person.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever had that mentality.
Well, maybe you're true to this, not new to this.
Maybe what?
You're true to this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, I'm more into connection versus external beauty.
Well, are you gonna be with somebody you don't think is pretty?
Of course, they're gonna be attracted to me, but I think like
No, I didn't say that. I said, are you gonna be with somebody you don't think is pretty?
probably not. But I don't think that would be the main thing. That would be like what I'm saying is it's more likely that I would be with somebody who is not as pretty, but our connection and vibe and like personalities click more than somebody who's extremely pretty that we have nothing in common for.
I can't stand beautiful people.
What's that? Is that a shot at your girl?
No, she's not beautiful. She's gorgeous.
Hey-o.
But
With the save.
okay.
Yo, the way you define words, I don't have that version of the website. I need the Kelby version of the dictionary.
Hey, buy it. It's online. $59.99. My thing is, beautiful people, for the most part, don't have personalities. Right?
Facts.
They just exist. They're walking around and they're waiting for somebody to be like, "You look so good. What else are you useful for?"
You got to be able to hold a conversation.
You do.
sure.
You do. You can't just be a very good listener because I know you're not really listening. You're just trying to see yourself through my eyeballs. I think a nice 8 with a 10 personality is an 11.
There you go.
That's math.
It's relationship math.
What's the cutoff though?
What's the cutoff? What do you mean?
A 10 personality, how low will you go on the looks radar?
Listen, man, where I am right now, I'm lucky enough I got a 10 and a 10. I don't know. That's like where, you know what I mean?
Another save.
Listen, man, I never had to say nothing. This just be what it is. I speak facts all day, period.
Right.
So when I say that, it's like sometimes you got to find a diamond in the rough, but every once in a while you got to find somebody who just got that dope personality. Right. There's some girls out there that got everything you don't like, but their personality is so dope. You're like, listen, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
So how much time we got, Chris?
Zero. But go ahead.
Speak on it.
Cause this my go minute.
I don't care.
All right, let's do it. We gonna give you that extra, and we're not even gonna charge you on a Patreon. We gonna just keep it on this. All right.
Damn, is that a shot as a khosh?
I don't know how-
One day
you just
you'll get
wanted
the
to
name
butcher
right.
his name again. So, do you remember? Maybe this was like 4 or 5 months ago. You were talking about the type of women that you were attracting, and it was like you were just like, all I could get her, and it was people that you felt were very unattractive, and you were like, why are only these type of girls feeling like, one, they have a shot with me, and two, like these are the only type of girls that are attracted. Do you remember this?
Probably because I always say you are what you attract.
Okay. So my question is, obviously I haven't met your girl yet, but I've seen pictures of her. I've seen her, on
You
the socials
literally
and
were
whatnot.
like 2 minutes away, right?
What?
Like she left and he came in.
Yeah.
So anyways, but I know she's gorgeous, right?
Pretty good.
And like from everything you've told me about her personality wise, she seems like a really, really great girl. So what changed within you, or what do you think, if you can put your finger on it, like changed to where all of a sudden you were starting to attract girls that you were actually attracted to?
So I'll say this. Last year was like a very polarizing year. Top of the year, first 6 months, it was just like that. I was getting those, hamburger looking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was trying very, very hard not to use like those type of terms. I just said women that you didn't find attractive.
Let me wait. Let me restate that.
Hamburger.
I didn't want to talk about weight.
It wasn't about weight. It was just, they was not my thing.
Hamburger. He said. Go ahead.
I gave it to him in a gift wrap bucket, and he just couldn't, he was like, you know what, Sunil? Fuck this wrapping paper. Fuck this present. Yeah, burglars.
Listen.
Finish
So
your
anyways,
dumb story.
This
Go
is
ahead.
my truth. This is gonna bite me in the butt
It
at
really
some
is.
point. Let's edit this out.
It was you, the editor.
Yo, shit never gets edited out. Like, all that gets edited out is nothing. Like, we just hear, we should edit this out, and then it just keeps going. So, anyways, go on. So, people.
First half of the year, I think it was just about my self confidence. I was attracting things that I projected.
Okay.
Second half of the year, and I still can't tell you exactly what happened, but it might have just been like I was just more consistent at the gym, eating right, feeling good, making money, all that kind of stuff just kind of cinched together, and I was attracting people that I was like, yo, y'all are dope.
Yeah.
Everybody's dope.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes life a little bit harder because you have all these great options. But like I always say, you are what you attract. So it may not be in looks. I think homegirl looks better than me, but I think there's something inside of me that's dope too.
Right.
And I just think that the best way to date in general is to be your absolute best self. Eat right, exercise, drink your water, make money. That's important. As a man, when you're making money, your confidence just changes. Everything just changes. You could get anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
And not because you buy it. It's mainly because if you're making money, that means that you're valuable to society somehow, some way.
Mm-hmm.
So you start getting this swagger about yourself, and it changes who you are as a person. It not changes you to become someone else. It just elevates who you are to be your most
So do you
confident
put?
self.
Can you? Because definitely within the last however many months, your income level has grown. But even last year, you're doing pretty well.
Hmm?
So it might not be strictly just the money.
No.
right?
It's a mixture of all that stuff
Right.
put together. And I also think it's a bit of age. When in your 20s, you're on this spectrum of I feel bad for myself, I'm broke, but maybe I look really good. and you have very low self-confidence, or you have somebody who's like achieves things early on in life, but they also like don't feel that great about how they look. So everyone is somewhere in the middle, and they feel just like uncomfortable in their own body, uncomfortable in their skin. You may be successful, but you don't feel good. You may look good, but you're not that successful. All this stuff, And then I think once you hit 30-ish and you start changing the way you think about yourself, you're like, okay, look, here's the stuff I don't like about myself. Let me just go out and fix it. And you start prioritizing things. Another thing that I changed was my style.
Your what?
My style, my clothing.
Oh, okay. In what way?
I changed my whole closet. So before, I was always just a very cheap guy, and I still am. I used to just buy my clothes at Walmart or at Target, but mainly Walmart. And I come to realize that the stuff didn't fit me that well. It would just like fit. Like, oh, it's on me. But it doesn't like look good. And I started going to other places that I honestly, to be honest, I always thought I was just like too fat for those places. So I would go to Zara and H&M and all those places that I see skinny boys go to. And I was like, well, let me just go see what they have in there. And I just started kind of changing my wardrobe. I also realized like this changes business as well. I decided when I go to a business meeting, I'm going to look like the person you want to work with. So I changed up my whole wardrobe to just kind of feel my age and to just feel good in my own skin. And the moment I did that, so many people were just like, oh, you look really nice today. Or that kind of stuff that, honestly, a few years ago, people would always say, this shirt doesn't properly fit you. Or this is like too big, or it's like oddly too small, or something like that. Like all that stuff. So I think I just made a conscious effort.
You started caring.
Yeah.
About your appearance.
Yeah. Even though I'm not very stylish as a person, but I just kind of
put in more effort than you were before.
Just, So all of that mixed together. I also started taking time off. A lot of work is cool, but I started traveling. Life. Yeah, I started traveling. And when I was on those sites, like you and everything, I used to have pictures that did okay. But I took a picture on a boat in Hawaii where I was like doing this like thumbs up look. And boy, when I posted that picture on one of those sites, it was like, I think in one day, I got like 8 matches. Like I posted it in the very next day. And it was all that same picture. It was just me smiling on a boat. And so I just think that, again, all that stuff mixed together, eat right, exercise, take some time off, go travel, go learn some stuff, go all this stuff, go try to be the best version of yourself as possible. And once I finally hit a peak of that, of like, I am finally becoming the best version of myself, another person comes around and they're like a spitting image, but a better version of yourself. And then you're like, got it. Right. You see what I'm saying? That's what I think changed.
Yeah, you started to focus on yourself more and your happiness versus being desperate for a girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even though maybe desperate was the wrong word back then, I think you were like searching for some kind of companionship versus finding like your happiness within you.
Yeah, you really do. When I joke around on the podcast platform on Instagram, MOI Podcast, you follow us. And I always write as a caption, fellas, focus on yourself. But it's the truth.
Yeah.
If you focus on yourself and you just like, put your toe into the water over there. Just see. They will let you know if you're ready or not. Right. They will. Because they'll eventually, like, if you notice that girls are just coming around and leaving and you're always not the right guy for them, maybe you got to go focus on yourself for another 6 months. Go exercise. Go drink some water. Go this. Go that. Just go figure it out. So that's another thing I think the streets will tell you.
I've noticed also, like, when I get to a point where others or even female opinions of me don't affect me, that's when I'm usually at my peak of attractiveness too. And what I don't mean, I don't care about them. It doesn't affect me. So I could hear somebody's criticism of me and it doesn't affect me in this negative, like depressive, like all of a sudden I start feeling victim, like I'm a victim, like, oh, I'm not good enough, all this kind of stuff. Like, when I'm at a point where my confidence is like I could hear the criticism or hear somebody be like, you know what, I'm not really that into you, and it doesn't phase me. Like that's when I'm also attracting the most quality as well.
Yeah, that self-confidence is something else.
Yeah.
Last week, one of my coworkers was talking to me, and she's dating a white guy, and you know, every day he's like having some kind of
What is she?
Mexican.
Okay.
And every day he's like, I'm just so anxious and have anxiety and this and that. I was like, stop talking to this guy.
That's it.
The thing is, he's sitting there dealing with all this stuff and trying to deal with you. He's not in a position yet where if he has crippling anxiety
Right.
every day and you're new to his life, I understand if you were dating for 10 years and this is something that y'all are used to, but this is a guy that you're bringing on to your life. You can't just be bringing on any old baggage
Right.
to your life because what, they're cute?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, down the line, that's going to create more problems.
Oh, for sure. What kind of father is that person going to be? You know, somebody
Even if
who
gets to that extent, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who's just by themselves. Well, work is giving me such anxiety. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
I get it, but
What's your solution to that, bro? Like, you're just going to play victim? Once again, going back to society.
well, I don't know. Maybe he has a mental disorder.
It could be, but either way, even then, I'm not saying like whatever the problem, there's genuine problems, but what are you doing to solve it versus just complain about it? Like, you know, I remember I had this one mentor who anytime somebody would like vent about a problem or something like that, he would always, not without sugarcoating or whatever, just tell them exactly what their issue is and like give them a solution, regardless of like how abrupt or how stern it was and kind of stuff. And then he was like, and then I would ask him, and I was like, yo, man, like, you know, why don't you just let these guys like just kind of get it off their chest or vent? And he's like, Sunil, what does venting do? And he was like, I was like, well, you know, sometimes when people get it off their chest, you know, they feel better. He's like, then what happens? And I was like, I don't know. They forget about it. He's like, exactly. He's like, the problem with venting is it's a way to feel better without changing anything. The initial issue that caused you to have this problem, I want them to feel that. So they actually have that feeling and change what they need to change to make sure that situation doesn't happen again. But if I allow them to vent and just get it off of their chest, they're going to forget that they felt this way because they feel better, and they're going to continue to have the same problem down the line. So he's like, if anybody ever starts venting to you, Sunil, you shut that shit down. And he was talking about this from a business standpoint. But I was thinking about it, I was like, that's absolutely correct. You know, sometimes we say, oh, we just need to get it off our chest, but then that problem continuously will come, because if you continue to do the same things and expect different results, you know, that's the definition of insanity. So, I mean, obviously that's an extreme version of it, but there is something to be said, like you were talking about, of just like, you just got to change things. You can't just constantly just think about the problem and just like, oh, I have this issue, and just vent. Okay, I feel better. Thanks for listening to me. No, well, did you solve anything versus just say something about it? You know what I mean?
Was your mentor Rasputin?
No. I don't get the reference.
I'll let the listeners get on that. Well, that's the ultimate truth, I think, for men. Now I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why do you have a beard? I know it's a random question, but why?
I don't know. I like it. I like the look.
Because I'm starting to see that other bald men are going clean shaven or goatee.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever do that?
I used to be clean shaven with bald head.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't like it?
I like the beard better.
It seems to be
dislike it, but I like the beard better.
It seems to be the trend that's going around now.
To be clean shaven?
I'm seeing it. I'm starting to see it pop up. But that leads me to my next thing. Dad bods.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to see that ladies loving dad bods. Do you think you would just work out like once a week just to make sure your dad bod is just like key?
I think ideally I would like to be more fit,
Mm-hmm.
but I have noticed that I think I'm in a position where I still have the frame of like when I was like bigger, like muscular. So I've noticed like where the way I view myself is not the way women view me.
How do they see you?
Like I'm strong. I'm like they're like, oh, it was so nice that you're like big and you're strong and like I didn't realize how strong you were and stuff like that.
They be telling you that?
Yeah.
Oh, Lee.
And then in my mind, I'm like, this is the worst shape I've ever been in. You know what I mean? But in their mind, they're like, I was just telling the guy, I was like, yeah, I know, I'm a little chubby right now. They're like, you're not chubby. I'm like, the fuck are you guys talking? Like, are we seeing the same person? Like,
do you think you have body dysmorphia?
no.
Oh.
I don't think so. But I wouldn't look at myself and say I'm extremely healthy in the sense like, I have extra weight that I could lose for sure. Mm-hmm. And I definitely could be like, I've definitely been more muscular in the past and stuff like that. But I also know I'm not like terribly unfit either.
I think ladies like size.
Yeah.
Nowadays. Like that's the new thing. Beard and size.
Mm-hmm.
So before, when I was skinny, when you guys met me, well, when you met me, I was skinny.
Yeah.
Skinny. But when,
and you were cut.
Yeah. But I was just skinny at the time, and I was trying to gain weight. When Chris met me, I had a little bit more muscle on me. But come to find out, some years later, everybody's like, "Oh man, I'm so glad you're over that phase."
Yeah, I think it's certain women feel that way.
Oh, aunties?
No, I think it's like, I think that certain women, I think most women obviously love being like feeling safe and protected. I think there's certain women that do like the very fit 6-pack, no body fat, that type of
Under
person.
33.
Age wise, that is interesting. I think it also depends on the girl's fitness level.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lot of girls that are over 33 that are like super
fit.
Yoga, like
Yeah.
Then I'm a vegan. I eat a clean lifestyle. That kind of stuff. I don't think that they would necessarily could be with somebody, not maybe because of the way they look, but just the lifestyles would be different. Like,
I'm gonna tell you something. Some years ago, there was this lady. I met her. She's a very fit lady. Everything she eats is vegan. Eats plants all day. And she was married at the time. She was always kind of looking at me a little way. And I used to always think, like, I don't know if she flirted with me or not. But so I saw her somewhat recently. She told me she got divorced. And I'm sorry, I'm telling this story. But so she came up to me. I said, "Oh, how's your husband?" She said, "I ain't with him anymore. We divorced." I said, "Oh." Then she started looking me up and down. I was like,
uncomfortable.
I'm gonna go. Right. So I saw her quite a few times, all within the span of like 1 month. So the first time I saw her, she texted me like after I saw her, I was like, "Oh my gosh, it was so good to see you. I haven't seen you in so many years." Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know how to take this. So one of her friends texted me and was like, "Did you see homegirl?" I was like, "Oh gosh, yeah, I saw her." And they were like, she's, and I was like,
what did you just say?
She's like, interested.
Oh, okay.
And she has a kid and everything too. And I was like, really? Huh. So I saw her again like the following week. Now I didn't go see her. We were just working on the same thing. And I saw her and she's like telling me about her kid and all stuff. And she lives a very vegan lifestyle and all stuff. I was like, bro, I be eating the face off of meat, off of chickens, beef, steak, all that stuff. I eat the face. And she was like, I don't really care about that stuff.
Interesting.
I said, what you mean? She was like, yeah, I don't really care. Like, that's what I do. But honestly, for you, I would buy you. If you want a burger, I would buy it for you. All this stuff.
She wanted the meats.
Yeah. A case, you wanted a seasoned case of meats. And
she wanted that Anderson Pat.
Or Lee. So I had to eventually tell her, like, hey, look, I'm grateful that you think I'm all right, but I can't do that at the moment, because it was like 5 different days so the very last time I saw her, she was like, she like touch my chest. You know when girls do the little circle on your chest, they twirl your one chest hair.
Yeah.
She was like, "Well, when I'm, well, I know you got vibes, man. But she was like, so when am I gonna see you? You know, we should hang out outside of work and all this stuff." I was like, "Bruh, look, okay, I gotta tell you this, but that just goes to show you she's 40-ish, you know, and she's all about that fit lifestyle, and I'm into the fitness, but I don't look like it,
Right.
And so for her, she was like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. I just like that you're big and you're black and you're funny. You don't. So I had to let her know what the situation was.
Right. That you engaged.
Facts. And I'm getting a BBL.
Right. Are you getting
Another one.
on top of this one?
Listen, I'm trying to be fine as hell, okay?
Dang.
You know what I mean?
You really trying to get into the Tyler Perry movie.
I really want to make that. Let me relax.
You really trying to make $2,500 off of him?
Relax. But that's how I was just going to tell you.
He ain't trying to get blacklisted from Tyler Perry studio.
I love Tyler Perry. I just watched Gone Girl. You ever seen Gone Girl?
Is that the new Medea movie?
No. Oh my God. You really are hurting Chris right now. Not knowing Gone Girl. Gone Girl fire though, dog. So yeah, I had to let her know, but it was just a quick moment of me realizing like these fitness girls don't give a crap anymore. I see a fitness girl at the gym. Her husband looks like Barney. He looks awful,
right.
But he's just up in there making sure he got the right pictures, got the camera phone, everything out. So I just don't think they care. As long as you're not sloppy fat.
See, I think it's a difference. I think
Plus, you got to have that charisma. You know what I mean?
For sure. And you got to also know that every relationship isn't a happy relationship.
Is an unhappy
It's
relationship?
not a happy relationship.
That's true. Most people are unhappy.
Yeah. And sometimes sometimes you settle for convenience and comfort over what you actually are looking for. And a lot of people cheat, man. A lot of people cheat.
Are you wired like one of those guys where like when you're in a thing, you just stop cheating or you don't cheat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that.
Even when I'm talking to somebody, I can't
It's
talk to
hard to
multiple
think of.
people.
Yeah, it's hard to think about other people.
Yeah, so that's why like maybe that also buys into why I'm able to like not get too attached also is because I'm used to just putting my focus on one person, and then if it doesn't work, then I'll move on to somebody else type of thing. But I'm never and this is something that's recent for me because in the past, like I've dealt with so many girls that have had dudes in the background or like had situationships that when I started talking to them that just always lingered or like they had that as a backup.
You were
plan,
never number one.
Well, I was number one, but there was a number 2 and number 3.
That's
you know what I mean?
That's
Like,
the problem.
so that's the thing. Like, even if it wasn't like an active thing, it was always like something that they could go back to.
I'm never a fan of that.
Yeah.
I actually stopped talking to a girl because she told me she had multiple other people.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was gross.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care if a girl's been with a lot of men. Like, you know, if you've hooked
Before,
up or whatever.
yeah.
I don't care. But at the same time, nah.
Well, for me, it's like if I'm talking to somebody who's actively talking to a bunch of people, I'll bow
Eject
out.
yourself. Yeah.
I'll bow out because I'm like, one, you can't give me the type of energy to really see if we have a chance, and 2, I don't like. To me, I can only give my 100% to one person. I can't give 100% to 5 people. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. It's very hard. All right. You guys want to end on a meditation?
Sure.
All right. Let's meditate together. Hold on 1 second. Wow. What a day. What a day. I hope that everybody out there is taking good care. If you are out there in the streets, always make sure you wear protection. And with that being said, follow our Instagram page. Follow us everywhere we go. And we're going to end on a meditation. I'll see you guys.
Not what I was expecting.
I'll see you guys. This has been the Men on the Internet podcast.